Hey there and welcome guys. Today we're going to be talking about the dumbbell single arm bicep curl. We're going to be taking a pronated grip with this exercise today. This is a great exercise for your biceps and I highly recommend you guys do it. At the end of the video we're going to be talking about some of the common mistakes that I want you guys to avoid. That way you can get the most out of this exercise. Now the reason you would do a single arm exercise is so that you don't have an imbalance in one side. So if you were to, let's say, have a smaller right arm, then you would do this is how I do it, at least 5 extra reps every set. At the end, I'll do my right arm for 20, let's just say my left arm for 20, and then I'll come back and do one more set of 5 on that arm that I want to grow more. And then we're going to talk about some of the tips to do it correctly. But before we continue, here's a word from today's video sponsor.
I'm today's video sponsor, and if you'd like help losing fat or gaining muscle, there are a few ways I can help you down below. Either set up a free consultation with us, purchase one of our free affiliate links, or purchase one of our instant access affordable training programs. Can't wait to be of service to you. Now let's get back to the rest of the video.
Like I was saying, just make sure that you aim to at least get your elbow fairly tight in. You don't want to be forcing it either. Just, try to keep it in, and if it comes out a little bit, it's not a big deal. So notice my elbow does come out slightly. That's not a big deal, guys. It's natural. That's just the way it works. It's like trying to keep your elbows in when you're doing a bench press, like a pronated grip bench press. It's basically impossible. Another key thing you want to make sure you're doing is coming up to the shoulder and then coming right back down. You do not need to go higher than the shoulder. And the reason is because if you start changing your elbow position while you're doing the curl, you start to activate different muscles. So notice that I'm just coming up to the shoulder and my upper arm is not moving. My elbow position is not moving. That's crucial when you're doing bicep curls. Because if you completely move your arm, like your elbow, let's say, points in front of you instead of downward, then you're going to start working different muscle groups like your anterior delt, which is basically your front delt. You don't want to be doing that. Now, if you change your elbow position and you're doing just a different exercise that's different, like if you're doing spider curls, for example, your elbow is going to be in front of you, which is fine. But you want to make sure that when you're doing any standing curls, in my opinion, you should just keep your elbows to the side, because the way gravity pushes down, it would just be pushing down on the forearm. So other than that, you want to make sure that you're keeping your range of motion nice and full, so all the way down, all the way up. Also, what you want to make sure you're doing is that you're doing it in a slow and controlled fashion. You don't want to be using momentum. You don't want to use your lower back. You don't want to use your legs. You don't want to use your neck. You want to just use your biceps, because that's what you're training, your biceps. So just use your biceps. Another thing is you want to make sure your chin stays tucked. You do not want to be looking up when you're doing this and placing unnecessary strain on your neck. Also, you want to make sure you keep the dumbbell in line with your arm. So notice how it's just going straight up and down. It's not moving off at an angle. So here's some common mistakes. You don't want to be doing half reps at the bottom or the top. Don't do 21s or anything like that. Just do full repetitions all the time. That way you get the most out of the exercise. Another key thing you want to avoid is keeping your neck up, like I said. You don't want your chin facing up and placing unnecessary strain on your neck. Also, keep your shoulders down. Don't shrug while you're curling. That's just placing more tension on your traps and not on your biceps. Also, make sure not to excessively bring out your elbow. So notice my elbow is completely out. It's like pointing to the side. Also, you don't want to be using momentum. Don't use momentum when you're doing curls. Just use your arms, not your lower back or your shoulders. Don't also bring your elbow forward. So you don't want to be changing your elbow position when you're doing it, because then you're changing the area you're training. Also, don't excessively arch your lower back. Make sure your back stays straight and that you're just using your arm.